Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ash for the Triple S League. I'm here with Obsidian, as per usual, and we've got something exciting for you today. Of course, Fallout 76 is just around the corner, and we're starting to talk about builds and how to distribute your special points and what kind of character builds that we can look at to have a successful and fun time in this game. And so what you're seeing on the screen here, we have this tool that's been developed by Nukes and Dragons, and we'll put a link to this in the description below. You can go to this website. You can try this tool out. It includes a column for each of the special stats, and you can try out distributing all your points as you see fit, and also you can look at a bunch of the cards that you will get that you'll be able to slot into each of your stats. These are your perk cards, and so you can slot these in under each of your special stats as you collect them. Anyway, this is a very helpful tool for starting to plan out your build. And so what we're looking at here today is what we'll call sort of your bare minimum, sort of baseline build that we would recommend as far as the number of points, the minimum number of points to put into each special stat, and the cards that you want to target. Because Fallout 76 isn't completely released yet, this tool isn't complete. It doesn't have all of the perk cards that you'll be able to collect. But what we have here and what you're looking at on the screen is a baseline minimum build that you want to shoot for to have a successful time in Fallout 76 based on the information we have available right now.
We don't know yet whether or not you can actually reset your special points. And right now, from what we've heard and from what we're kind of seeing, is that you can't. So if that is the case, then you want to be very careful when you're leveling up which points you're putting into where, because you don't want to get to level cap and realize that you are 4 points short of having your completed build. We'll start off looking at the strength category. Now, strength is going to affect your carry weight. Right now, we're pretty sure on these numbers. He's been updating this constantly. So you see the carry weight is actually listed there, 180 pounds. That's not too much. But if you take these two things, which reduces your junk and reduces your ammo carry cost for ballistic ammo, a combination of these two things is going to give you an exceptional ability to carry a lot of stuff, transport it around, and not have to deal with being glued to the ground.
So as you can see, Pack Rat reduces the weight of all your junk items, and that's going to be very important because you're going to be carrying a lot of junk items around because those get reduced to materials that you use for crafting, which is very important. And Bandolier reduces the ballistic weapon ammo weight by 90%, which is pretty significant. Now, this is at the top star ranking for each of these cards, and we should probably explain this here. So the reason strength is at 6 is because each of these cards is worth, it requires 3 points to slot this into this category. Now, each of these cards can have a 1, 2, or a 3-star rating. As you can see, the value changes as I hover over top of that. And the way that works is, the first time you pick up a Pack Rat card in one of your random card packs, it'll be at a 1-star ranking. Once you get a second one, you can combine them to make it a 2-star ranking. And then once you get a third one, you can combine that to make it into a 3-star ranking. And so once you've maxed those out, these are the values you'll be at. Bandolier's not going to start out at 90%, at reducing ammo by 90%. At the first star rank, it'll be 30%, but then you level it up from there.
So moving on to perception, the core things that you're going to want in perception, you can do all kinds of different things with VATS and some sniping builds with it, but what we selected here is the pick lock experience. And without these perk cards, you're not getting into certain buildings, period. Unless you're either group up with somebody, or if you have these in your deck, there is no way you're getting through that door.
So these are all, you can see here, Expert Picklock, Master Picklock, and then just regular Picklock. These are all basically the same. And as you can see, he doesn't, it says X% here just because he's not sure, he's not sure yet what that sweet spot increase is going to be.
Yeah, but the only one that we saw for sure was the General Picklock, which makes it 10% larger. Right. So basically what we're seeing here is that if you only put 2 points in your perception and you get to an awesome locker, and that locker is locked with a master level lock, you're not going to be able to engage the thing to even try to open it. From from what it sounds like and from what we've seen from the gameplay.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to be running around with these always on. You can stop, open up your Pip-Boy, take them out, put something else back in, but you need those 3 points in there.
The other thing we should mention is that sometimes these cards have level requirements attached. So that's just something to keep a note of in your mind, that sometimes you have to be a certain level to use a certain card. Even if you have the space for it in the category, sometimes you can't use them right away.
Moving on, we've got probably one of the most annoying things in this game is going to be diseases that you get from eating non-perfect food. So in this game, you're gonna, I think from what I've seen, and again, this is going to change over the next week here as this information is confirmed. But some of the food that you're just going to pick up off the ground, some of that is going to potentially have disease. Or if you're in big trouble and you're dying of thirst, you might have to drink from a toilet. And if you do that, there's a good chance you're going to get some disease. So Iron Stomach is going to reduce that by 90%, which is basically going to make it pretty much impossible for you to get diseases.
Again, once you rank it up to the max, it's going to be...
Yes.
Yeah.
When it's on its first rank, it's only going to reduce it by 30. So you'll definitely want this card once you can rank it up to 3, because that's going to save your butt probably a lot. There's probably a lot of ways to treat diseases and to cure them, but you don't want to be wasting your precious, doctor bags and super med packs and stim packs in order to cure something that you could just avoid entirely. There's also some other ones in the endurance tree that are pretty important, but those are play style ones. This one will affect literally everybody going into the game. So
yeah, and endurance affects the number of hit points you have. So keep that in mind when you're deciding on your final endurance value. Remember that this is the minimum we're recommending is 3. Obviously, and depending on what type of build, you're going to want a lot more than that potentially.
So next we've got Charisma. Charisma is going to be pretty cool because it lets you share a lot of traits and a lot of perks with people in your group. It also is going to make some things like your mutations and whatnot a little bit more powerful. So basically, this one probably a 4 at a minimum. The nicest thing about this is going to be the Lone Wanderer card. This is definitely a great card to have early on. It does require 4. I don't know if that's a typo or not. I believe that this card does require 1 more point than some of the other 3-star cards out there.
Yeah, it looks like it costs at rank 1 it costs 2.
Yeah,
and then
I don't know. We're not 100% certain on some of these totals. So
yes, all of this is subject to change. Just bear that in mind.
However, the extra damage and the extra AP regen for pretty much every class, this is going to be really, really, really important. An extra baseline damage resistance of 20% is awesome. And there is a card that you can swap in that's going to be worth 3 points that will increase the group effect that you're having. So that when you're a team, you're either taking less damage from bodyguards, which is also going to require you to have 4 points, or you might want to just take the XP bonus, which is going to need at least 3 points, and that's going to increase your experience points when you're in a group as well.
So you can swap these cards in and out as you need them.
Yeah.
So if you're in a group, you can slot in the cards that give you
that
the
out.
bonus for the group. But then when you're adventuring alone, you can stick this in here. But in either case, you'll want about a 4 in charisma.
Yeah. So moving on to intelligence, this is basically going to be exactly the same as perception. There's a lot of really cool stuff in intelligence. There's a lot of reasons to go and max that out, especially for crafting, especially for some of the tinkering that you can do. This is going to be definitely a top pick for a lot of people to kind of max this out, get this as high as you can. But why we have a baseline of it being 3 is the exact same reason as perception, because you're going to encounter some computers and some electronic locks that you absolutely must have these 3 cards in order to access or in order to open that door.
Right.
Unless you're in a group. So again, if you're with a group, then you'll need 1 person who's got all of this. But if you're a fan of playing by yourself, and if you're not a fan of relying on other people, you want to have at least 3 points in intelligence, because again, if you get up to 50 and you can't reset your stats, you can't reset your specials, and you've come across this, big room with a, giant weapon inside of it, or maybe some power armor that you want, but you have to unlock the gate to get in, and it's an electronic lock through a computer. If you can't get it and it's the highest level, then you're not getting in.
Yeah.
This is why at least put 3 points into intelligence. So moving on to agility. Agility has got an amazing tree with a ton of stuff. I am probably going to rank up agility to 15. There is just so much good stuff in it. And
that's the other different thing that's different from previous games, is that the max that you can put into each special stat is now at 15 as opposed to 10.
So in this particular case, I'm looking at the most important skill. If you're not going to use the action point system, if you're not using VATS at all, and you don't want to bother with it, you'd rather max out 1 or 2 of the other special points, or even go for a 3, and you want to sacrifice agility to do that, you should at least have 3 in there so that you can have Born Survivor. And Born Survivor is a really, really important perk card, because when you fall below at this level of it, which is the 3-star rank, when you fall below 40% health pool level, it's going to automatically use a stim pack. And this is huge, because when you're engaged in PvP, when you're engaged with fighting any kind of a ghoul swarm or anything like that, pausing to get in and activate a stim pack, even with the floating menu, probably is going to cost you vital seconds that you may need to survive, especially doing some of the higher level stuff, especially when you're getting swarmed. This is just something, or when you're just running, if you're trying to run away from something. This one is probably one of my best picks, and is probably one of the most important skills to have, and 3 agility, not that hard to get. I personally am going to be maxing agility, because there's a ton of other really great stuff in there, but it's going to turn your character to relying a little bit more on VATS and using VATS and action points in an interesting way. So that's really cool. But moving on to the last one is going to be luck. And this one you at least need 2 points in, which isn't very much. You can definitely sacrifice luck if you want to focus more on intelligence or charisma or perception or strength, or all of those things. Luck is one of these things that you can squash down to basically nothing if you really want to. And but why you want at least 2 in it is because of the starch genes. You either want to not have to deal with mutations, or you want to get a good mutation and keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And in either event, having this one card at rank 2, so it's only using up 2 points, is going to make it so that you either don't have to deal with them, or you keep the one that you want. You got lucky, you got a really good mutation, you're really happy with this, you want this card as soon as you can get it in the game. You're going to try and aim yourself to get particular mutations, because some of them are going to be really, really good, but they are kind of like the trait system, where they kind of it kind of costs you a little something, but it gives you something. And these I'm really excited to see these, because I'm really, really excited to see the way that mutations work and stuff like that. So I'm stoked for this one, and this is one of those cards where I think you absolutely need this card, period.
To make sure that you keep the mutations you want. So the way you would use this then is you'd wait until you have a mutation that you want to keep, and then you swap this in, and then using Radaway won't remove that mutation.
Yeah, and again, you can take these off and put them back on at any time you want, but this is definitely going to be one where I'm going to keep my eye out for this one pretty early on, because if I get a really cool mutation, then I definitely want to keep it, and kind of move my character build around it. So that's the basics. That's the baseline stuff that you want to have for sure, guaranteed, before you hit 50. Once you have this kind of picked out, you're going to be able to go anywhere. You're going to be able to open any door. You're going to have a pretty easy time with carrying. You're going to be having a pretty decent time when it comes to in combat kind of stuff. And you're going to have 32 points remaining to put into whatever else you want.
Yep.
32 points, you're going to be able to max out at least 2 other points all the way up to 15. And if you kind of tweak it a little bit, you can if you do want to take that 1 point away from agility, maybe risk going down to just a 1 on luck, and then 1 down on charisma. You can maybe even get about 3 of these special points maxed out at 15. But for the most part, this is where you want to start. This is where you want to have your foundation for your character, because then you're not going to realize that you kind of screwed yourself over at the later part of the game. You're not going to realize that, darn it, I really, really needed that pick lock ability or that hacker ability. Those are the 2 big important ones, and probably the starch genes, which you may or may not use it at rank 1, but I think probably you'll want to keep this at rank 2. So those are the most important things as the Xbox beta goes live, and as we start to see what some of these other cards, and there's also gold rank cards and special cards out there, so a lot of those cards are going to be coming. Plus they've said that they're going to be adding new cards all the time, so this will definitely change up some of the stuff. But this is I feel this is where we want to keep our basics at, because in this build we can max out 2 of these and then bring another one pretty close to 10 with some general ease. So continue to check back here on the Triple S League. Also keep on checking out Nukes and Dragons. He's going to be updating this thing pretty often.
Yeah, so we'll have the link to this tool in the description so you can check it out, and then I'll just show you. You just click here on any category to see the rest of the cards that are available in the category. Again, this is not exhaustive. We don't know all of the cards, and some of these don't have completed descriptions just because, he doesn't know yet what all of the cards are going to do. But this is a good place to start, and it's a good way to start planning and thinking about the character that you're going to be building for Fallout 76. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you found this helpful. Definitely slam that like button, and also hit that subscribe button with the notification bell to catch tons more Fallout 76 content right here on the Triple S League. Thank you so much for watching. We will talk to you soon. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, sub, and hit that notification bell, and then check out some of these other videos. Find the link to our Discord server and other important stuff in the description below.
Rotate.